I haven't done a live in a while, so I wanted to get in touch with my subscribers, see what y'all are up to, let y'all know what's going on my end. Just keep everybody updated, keep things fresh, and like I said at the beginning, it's been a while. You can't do that, so um, I was going to try to plan a live. Sometimes things just get crazy, and you just whatever moment opens up, you got to go with it. So there you go. Here we go. Mountaineer fan, he's here. The Gump, he's here. Yes, any and all fan bases are welcome. And I'm even talking about Pitt fans. I have Pitt subscribers on my channel, and we actually get along. Do we talk trash to each other? Yeah, it's fun. But we keep it respectable, and we keep it fun. Sea Dog's in the house. Steve, I forgot to check my my PO box. I don't know if you sent your sign yet, but today I was absolutely going to check my PO box, but I forgot. So if you've sent it, I will check it tomorrow. Yeah, Sea Dog is a Georgia Tech fan. But you know what? I have a newfound respect for Georgia Tech fans because he made me a handmade sign and he's sending it to me, and it's going to go back on the wall. And if y'all don't know already, if you have something small, nothing big, like maybe a shirt or a hat or even a cup, something like that, send it to my P.O. box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up on my show, and my background's going to stay the same, okay? That's going to stay the same. But what's going to happen is my subscribers that send me their new unopened merch that represents your team, don't buy something West Virginia unless you're a West Virginia fan. Whatever team you're a fan of, that's what you send. I open it up on a video, and I'm going to display it on my wall. I'm going to turn my wall into my fan wall. That's what I'm going to call it, my fan wall. So I'll try to keep as much of my stuff up there as possible, but it might get a little crowded. I'm going to say that. No, you're good, Sea Dog. I was just letting you know that I haven't checked my PO box in a while, so that's why if you have sent it, I haven't opened it. But I'm looking forward to it, and I've also gotten some messages from some of my other subscribers saying that they're going to send some merchandise representing their team. So I can't wait. Even Pitt fans, you send me some merchandise, I'll put it on my wall begrudgingly, but I keep my word. Oh, that's a good point. Mountaineer fan needs to get better at free throws. He's talking about that game we lost at Oklahoma. Well, first of all, we need to stop getting down. We need to take charge of a game and just put our foot on their throats. I'm sick of us getting down by double digits and then coming back but still losing. Some of those comebacks we completed and won the game, but just stop doing that. Take control of the game and put them away early. We had a 1-point loss to Oklahoma in double overtime. Oklahoma is looking really good, though, right now. I will say that. And that road win against Texas Tech is looking really good now. We needed that. Lenny says, Bama aiming for the Sweet 16. How about that, folks? In basketball, are they trying to take over all the sports? Like, what's going on in Tuscaloosa? What are they doing down there? Like, they haven't been good in basketball for a little while. They tried to get something going whenever Johnson was their coach. So I don't have anything against Alabama, but don't please at least save something for the rest of us. We need it because we know when football rolls around, Alabama's going to be in the mix. However, I will say this. I don't think that Alabama's going to make the national championship this year. I'm not saying that they're not good. They're not going to be good. I am not saying that at all. I'm not even going to say that they're not going to make the playoffs. I think they probably will make the playoffs. The problem is they're just really, really young. I think this is that year where they're going to go through an adjustment period. They're going to be great. Might even win the SEC, but just enough to where, they don't make the championship or win the national championship, which is fine. They'll probably have another all-time great team next year. That's what they do. But this year, the two teams that I'm really keeping an eye on is Oklahoma and Georgia. If you go back and look at the stats, last year it was teams that were good at offense. Teams that were in the top 10 of offense made the playoffs. Alabama was, I believe, 4th. I could be wrong on some of these. I know they're in the top 10, okay? But Alabama, I believe, was 3rd or 4th. Ohio State was 6th. Clemson was 10th. The only outlier was Notre Dame, and they were like 26th. But we all know what happened to Notre Dame. They didn't look like they belonged. So it was, if you were good at offense, number one, getting to the playoffs. Number two, having success once you were there. And that is why I like Georgia in 2021. They have pretty much everybody coming back on offense. Everybody. I mean, JT Daniels, he'll be back. Zamir White, the running back, he'll be back. George Pickens, Curious Jackson, Darnell Washington, Dominic Blaylock, Jermaine Burton. That team is going to be loaded. And I am definitely 100% looking forward to that first game between Georgia and Clemson. If you're a Clemson fan, plug your ears real quick, okay? I think Georgia is going to beat Clemson in that first game because of what I just mentioned. I think by the end of the year, Clemson will be fine. They'll be a playoff team. They'll get to the playoffs, and they'll win the ACC. But at the beginning of the year, Georgia will have the experience on offense. Clemson will have the experience on defense, but Georgia will have the experience on offense. And what we've seen as far as the trend goes, offense is what's going to win you ball games. Clemson's going to be really, really young on the offensive side. And that's not going to say they're going to be bad. Clemson will be fine. But that's game one, and Georgia's coming in with experienced starters, experienced, skilled starters in game one. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a close game, but I think the edge does belong to Georgia in the first game. My question, here's my issue with Georgia. Here's my question. Will coaching screw it up by the end of the season? They have the team, guys. Georgia has the team to make the playoffs, and I do think they beat Clemson. But with that SEC schedule, is their coaching going to mess it up? Because Kirby Smart, he has messed things up before. I mean, choosing Jake Fromm over Justin Fields, like what were you thinking? You immediately sent Georgia to the land of mediocrity by making that decision. That decision made no sense. Of course, Justin Fields goes over to Ohio State. Who makes the playoffs and who doesn't? Ohio State makes the playoffs. Georgia doesn't. And that's directly on the coach because he doesn't know how to make good decisions. So if you're a Georgia fan, you better hope that all that talent and skill is enough to override the stupidity of your coaching. Kirby Smart should be called Kirby Dumbass. And I rarely cuss, but he is. He's a dumbass. So if Georgia had a better – man, think about that. If Georgia had a better coach, the way they recruit, the SEC East, very winnable every year. Georgia should be knocking on the playoff doors every single year if you think about it. Every single year. But they're not. Why? Stupid Kirby Smart. He's not very smart. I'm sorry. So I think Oklahoma, they have the easiest. I did my schedule rankings of the Big 12. Oklahoma has a clear path to the playoffs. They get Iowa State in Norman. Maybe Kansas State. Those will be their two tougher. I mean, even West Virginia they get at home. So, we're probably going to get mud stomped. I'm just being honest. I don't have much hope for that game. I think West Virginia will be better, but I think Oklahoma is going to be championship material. So I'm not putting any money on that game because I'll lose. But Oklahoma, They're going to be talented and a very easy schedule. Very easy schedule because Texas, they're going to be taking a big step back. Big step back. They fired Tom Herman. Sam Ehlinger is gone. That defense is inexperienced. Texas, probably lower half of the Big 12. Oklahoma State, they're going to take a big step back. Mike Gundy might be on the hot seat after this year. I'm telling you. The weird thing about last year is Oklahoma State was expected to have the best offense in the Big 12. And they didn't. They had one of the worst offenses. But they did end up having the best defense. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on in Stillwater and how much more they're going to put up with it, because he does get talent, but he don't know what to do with it. I mean, before the season even started, there was some issues. Like, you can't – when you're a coach, whether you agreed with what happened or didn't agree, that's not the point. The issue is when you're a coach, you have to think 3 steps ahead. Issues with your players before the season even starts, not good. Not a good start. They were doomed from the get-go. But, everybody saw Chuba Hubbard and Mike Gundy shake hands, so they were like, oh, they're good to go. That offense is going to be great. No, they were not good to go, and that offense was not great. So Mike Gundy crapped the bed again, and he's going to do it again in 2021. My question is, when is Oklahoma State going to have enough? When is enough is enough? I mean, are they okay with being, 4th, 5th place, a good year, 3rd place in the Big 12? I mean, if they're okay with that, then yeah, keep them, fine, whatever. But even at West Virginia, whenever the stars align, we had some undefeated seasons. We're one of those programs where the stars do have to align. We don't recruit very well. We don't recruit bad, but we're not elite recruiting. We're in the 30s, sometimes 20s if we're lucky. So we have to wait for the stars to align. But when they do, West Virginia has had some undefeated seasons and very close to, getting to the national championship. So at Oklahoma State, no such thing. Stars aligned, 3rd in the Big 12. That's your ceiling, Oklahoma State, finishing 3rd in the Big 12. Are you good with that? If you're good with that, then yeah, keep Gundy. And that's only when the stars align. When the stars are not aligned, you're going to be bad. And next year, the stars are not going to be aligned. I expect Oklahoma State to finish 5th or worse. My personal prediction for the Big 12, I have Oklahoma, Iowa State, and Kansas State. Haven't made up my mind. And then West Virginia 4th. And then 5th will be either – 5th's going to be interesting. It's going to be Oklahoma State, Texas, or TCU. I think TCU is going to have a bounce back year. Point is, Gundy might be seeing his way out the door. All right, so C-Dog says, Kirby has all those recruits fooled. Yeah, I actually agree with that comment. Hold on one second. My cat's getting into something. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Gotta watch them cats, man. I'm getting everything. All right. Lenny says, imagine spelling Jeff like Jeff. I know, every time I see that, that's how my brain interprets it. Jeff instead of Jeff. It's a good comment. I didn't know I was the only one that thought that. W Prod says, trust me, I could care less about Oklahoma. I mean, I get it, but we got to face facts. Oklahoma is they're the big dogs in the Big 12, especially in football this year, and even in basketball. Man, another example of like Alabama, what they're doing. Now it's Oklahoma. They're the best team in the Big 12 as of right now. I'm like, give us a break. Come on. Citrus says, what do you think of the Nebraska fan base? I think that you guys are probably, at least in loyalty, the most loyal fan base, because y'all hold the record for most consecutive sellouts, and that's during some really bad years. So I'm pretty impressed with your fan base, to be honest with you. That's really impressive. Whenever I looked that article up, it was from 2019, so I don't know if that streak's still intact. But even if it's not, it's still the longest streak of any sport of any team. So I mean, you can't really argue with that. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. Nebraska is one of only two teams I know if that will have to play two top five teams. I believe the other team is Mississippi State. So I'm guessing, hold on. Two top five teams. I know. So y'all play Ohio State. Who's the other top five team? For some reason, oh, you play Oklahoma. Yes, you play Oklahoma in Oklahoma. That is correct, man. Yeah, that's brutal. That is brutal. At least you get Ohio State at home. I mean, that's, something. Yeah, cat break. Well, I have two cats. One of them, he's fine. He doesn't get into anything. He just kind of chills. The other cat, his name is Munch. I got to keep my eye on that cat. He gets into everything. Texas is back to being 7-5. That's if they're lucky. I'm telling you, Texas is going to take a big step back. I do think Texas will get to a bowl, but barely. 7-5 might be right, but that's still, I don't know. That's still pushing it. We'll see. In basketball. Okay, so one of my biggest subscribers, before I say anything, one of my biggest subscribers is a Baylor fan. He's been with me since pretty much the beginning. So I hope he's not offended on what I'm about to say. But Baylor, they've been having COVID issues for a while, and on all the Big 12 Facebook groups, they're saying that it's been so long that now they need to start counting the games that they're starting to cancel. They were postponing. Now they're starting to cancel games. But the fans from the other teams are saying they should have to count those cancellations as losses because they feel that Baylor's trying to back their way into an undefeated season and be really, really fresh by the time the big dance rolls around. I don't really buy that because, I mean, I guess I could buy the fact of trying to back your way into an undefeated season. That's historic. That's rare. But a break that long, you would have to be rusty somehow. That would be chancing it. I'd rather get tested, and even if you do lose, at least you would know what you need to work on. So I don't really buy that. They're aggravated that Baylor keeps canceling. Everybody wants to play Baylor. Baylor's undefeated. As a West Virginia fan, I've been aggravated because we don't get to play Baylor at home at all. That's done, canceled. We have a chance to play Baylor at Baylor, but Baylor coming to Morgantown, not going to happen. It's been canceled. So, yeah, it's aggravated, and it's because of this whole COVID situation. It is what it is. Not going to get mad at Baylor. They're doing what they're supposed to do. But I would be lying if I were saying that I'm not aggravated, because I am. But as far as the national championship in basketball, I don't know, man. We all know in the big dance, anything can happen. Right now, Ohio State is really hot. They look really good. Michigan, they had that COVID issue, but they're looking really good as well. Another team, Oklahoma, they're on a roll. Alabama, they're on a roll. Virginia got beat by, who did they get beat? I believe it was yesterday. They got upset. I think it was Florida State. Florida State's getting on a roll. But Virginia wasn't on fire there for a while, but they went to Florida State and got hammered. But Illinois out of the Big Ten, they're on fire. They started the season off really, really, really slow. 3 of their 5 losses were within the first 5 games. So, 2 losses in the last, 14 games, that's pretty good. So I'm not ready to pencil in Gonzaga versus Baylor in the national championship just yet. Gonzaga more so. I know they have an easy schedule, but at the beginning of the season, they beat some good teams. Gonzaga beat some good teams, including my team, West Virginia. So But as far as in the national championship, anything can happen. I mean, for the first time ever, a couple years ago, a 1 seed got beat by a 16 seed. Nobody thought they would ever live to see that day. It happened. So you never say never. But top contenders, yes. For me, it would be Gonzaga, Baylor. I'm not going to put Houston up there. I know they're number 6 or number 5 right now, but their schedule's not great, and they got beat by East Carolina. So I can't, in good conscience, put them in that group. But I can put Alabama, Illinois, Ohio State. I don't know if I already said it. Oklahoma, Alabama, and who was that other? There was one more team. Dadgummit. I'll think of it later. But just a handful. So they're in the group, but I'm not going to say it's going to be Gonzaga and Baylor. In fact, if I were a betting man, I would bet against Baylor versus Gonzaga. One of those teams, yes, I like those odds. Both of those teams, no, I don't like those odds. There's just way too much that could happen. Whenever March starts rolling around more, I'll start, making more predictions. I updated my brackets yesterday. I don't know if y'all have seen that yet. Let me know what you think. I got a lot of blowback from the seeding of Belmont, but you know what? That's okay. 20-1, that's impressive. I know their schedule is not great. I don't think they have any quad 1 wins, but you know what? 20-1, I'm going to reward that. I gave them a 6 seed. I didn't make them like super high, just kind of in the middle of the pack. But somebody was really upset that I put them ahead of Kansas. I'm like, well, Kansas had some great wins at the beginning of the season, but in the last 10 games, their best win was against Oklahoma State. And besides Oklahoma State, they lost 7 straight games to a ranked team. So that's why I had Kansas as a 7 seed, Belmont as a 6 seed. Kansas just got ranked again. So just to clear that up, I just think that I understand the idea behind the the quadrant victories. I think they put a little bit too much into that. That's kind of overthinking it, because you could have a team. I mean, that's the exact scenario. You could have a team that's 15-7 or 13-8, but they have like two. Let's say they have 2 quad 1 wins, and then a team's like 20-1 or 21-2. Well, they don't have any quad 1 wins, so the team that's 13-8 and has 2, gets a higher seed. To me, that just doesn't make sense. You're just rewarding teams that beat a better team, but that can happen anytime. What about who they lost to? Kansas lost to some good teams, but they also lost to some questionable teams, and 7 losses. So it wasn't that big of a gap. It was 1 seed. I'm just trying to explain my thought process. I don't know if it's making any sense, but that's my thought process. So I wanted to ask you guys about, because my subscribers are from all kinds of fan bases, and I just made a video. It wasn't my list. It was a list that I found on that website that I found. I am going to do my own list, but the purpose of that video was to get people's reaction and give me a detailed description of what goes on with your fan base, like pregame traditions, maybe entrance, maybe chants, maybe traditions, whatever. I'm going to do my own research, but it would help if I heard from my own subscribers who are actual members of that fan base. So I know Citrus is a fan base of Nebraska. He could be able to go into more detail on, what goes on pregame, tailgating, entrances, on that, all that stuff that if you're not a fan, you probably wouldn't really know. I know, everything about our traditions, but I don't know much about y'all's other than what I've heard about, what I've seen online. So if you're watching the live show, go back to the video that I did today. You don't have to rewatch it. I'm not asking for that. But go back to the video that I made today and just, give me some actual details on your traditions, pre-games, chants, songs, whatever, to help me come up with my own list. That would be greatly appreciated. All right, so my kids are getting hungry. I'm going to cut this short. Thinking about doing one later this evening, so keep an eye out for that. Sea Dog says, "Are you going to come to the Slob Olympics?" I am planning on it. I'm actually talking to my brother, see if he wants to go as well. The plan is to go. Will it happen? I don't know yet. We'll see. But I definitely want to go. Uncle Lou's been talking about it. Pigskin Pete's I think he'll be there. Pretty much anybody's going to be there. So I'm going to try to make it and, maybe have some interaction with the other YouTubers, see what's going on. So yeah, I'm going to go feed my kids, make sure they don't starve. That wouldn't be very good. Not at all. But keep an eye out later this evening. Might do another live. We'll see. Appreciate you guys stopping by, and I'll see you next time.